All right, last week you guys talked about the area of a parallelogram. You also talked about the perimeter of a parallelogram. Today we're just going to be dealing with 11.5, the area of triangles. Right here we're basically just kind of breaking down what we're going to need to know for the lesson today. First of all, a base. Read to me what the base is.
The length of any one of the sides.
Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you choose. You can see for this one, we chose the base to be right there. Typically when you think about the base, you're thinking about the bottom of something, but we could have said that this over here was the base, okay? I could have also said that this over here was the base. It doesn't matter. We, most of the time though, are going to make it whatever the bottom part is. But now we've got to figure out the height. It says the height forms the right angle with the base, okay? So you can see right here where the right angle is, okay? So obviously the height is going to be what's going straight up, okay? But let's just say that we had chosen to have this over here be the base, then the height would have been this right here, okay? But it makes the most sense to put the base on the bottom, but it could be any one of your sides that you have there. Now, we memorized a formula for the area of a parallelogram. Now we're going to memorize another formula. This one is area equals half times b times h. What is the b?
Base.
The base. What's the h?
Height.
Height. Okay, do you guys remember what the area of a parallelogram was, what that formula was? So what's the difference between that one and this one? Okay, so this right here, it's always going to be exactly half of whatever the parallelogram would have been, okay? So you're going to want to memorize A equals half times base times height. For these next couple ones, we're going to be finding the area of the triangle. Just remember your answer every time you're finding area. It doesn't matter what the shape is, whether it's a parallelogram, a triangle, a trapezoid, a circle, whatever it is. Whenever you're finding the area, your units will always be units squared. So instead of it saying just plain old feet, you would say feet squared. Instead of saying centimeters, you would say what? Centimeters squared, okay? So every time we'll always start off with our formula. What is the formula for finding the area of a triangle?
A equals 1/2 times h.
Okay? Area equals half of the base times the height. So now you just got to figure out. And honestly, if you think about it, what is 2 times 4? 8. What is 4 times 2? 8. Did the order matter of those factors? No. So with this, it's also not going to matter because you're multiplying them together. But let's still find out. What is the base?
230.
Okay, this one right here is the base, all right? It's at the bottom of that right angle that we see there. So we're plugging it in. Area equals, the main thing is I want you guys to keep that equal sign directly underneath the one above it, because on the test I saw a lot of people really struggled with where the equal sign was going, and they forgot to put the right information on the correct side of the equal sign. So let's try this out. 1/2 times, you just told me the base was 231, and what is the height? 111 feet. All right, so now you're allowed to use your calculators, so go ahead and plug that in for me. Okay, when you did that, what do you find out it is?
12,820.5 squared.
Okay, that's a big number. 12,820.5, and what was the units?
Feet squared.
Feet squared. Thank you for remembering to square your units. Any questions? Problem B is going to be identical to what we just did. It's just different numbers, okay? So what is my formula I start with? Okay, and that's a formula you're going to want to have memorized for your test, quiz, stuff like that. So Jakari, what do I do? And what's my base? And what's my height? Good job. Guys, what is the area of this triangle?
35 centimeters squared.
Excellent. Thank you for telling me centimeters squared, because we're finding the area. And every time you can just go back and double check and make sure that you've got your area squared. We're finding the unknown base or the height of the triangle. So this is a little bit different because the problem is now giving us what the area is, and we have to break it down and find out what part of that triangle is. So we're going to start off with our formula once again. What is the formula for the area of a triangle?
A equals 1/2 times B times H.
Excellent. Okay, now here's where I'm really talking about the equal sign. I want you to write the equal sign. I'm going to just put it in red so that I can see. Whatever I have on this side of the equal sign has to stay on that side of the equal sign. Everything I have over here on this side of the equal side has to stay on that side of the equal side. What I found on your most recent test, a lot of times people were forgetting to put their equal sign there and they just multiplied everything together. You cannot multiply everything together. So what is my area that it tells me in the original problem?
35 centimeters.
35. That means it must stay to the left of the equal sign. So now half times B times H. I'm going to put my half. Do I know my base? No, so just keep it as B. Do I know my height? What is it? 10. Okay? Now, once again, I'm going to put my equal sign. I'm going to put it in red so it shows you. The 35 has to stay on its own side, and everything over here on this side has to stay on that side. Is there any work that I can do on this specific side?
Yes.
What can I do? What is half of 10?
5.
5. Okay? So now instead of half times 10, I've got 5 times B. All right? Your whole goal is to solve for that variable. You want to get that variable by itself. How do I get B by itself? Divide by 5. Okay? So I'm dividing by 5 on both sides. What is my base? Okay? 7 centimeters. Should it be centimeters squared?
No.
No, you only square the units when you're doing the what?
Area.
The area. So your answer for the base is 7 centimeters. Okay, we're going to do this problem very much the same exact way. Start off with your formula. So Ashley, what's the formula for the area of a triangle? Good job. Kayla, what do I plug in first?
Plug in the area.
Okay, so let's put our equal signs that we know for sure we got to keep what's on the left side and not move it around and not try to multiply it in. So what is that area?
61.6.
Good job. Sherelle, what do I do now?
Plug in the numbers.
Okay, tell me what to plug in.
1/2 times 11 times H.
Great job. Addison, what's 1/2 of 11? All right, 5.5 is correct. So if you remember what we want to do, keep your equal sign right here. Do not try to multiply this number yet. It's got to stay on its own side. So half of 11 is 5.5. So now all I'm doing, I just worked that part out and I'm bringing it down. 5.5 times H equals, and once again you just bring your 61.6 down. How do I get that H by itself? Divide by what? Okay. Do it on both sides because you got to be fair. This side cancels out and we're left with H equals what?
11.2 meters.
Okay, great job. 11.2 meters. And that is the distance for your height. So let's start off with the formula. What is it, guys?
A equals 1/2 times B times H.
1/2 times B times H. Remember, keep your equal sign first. What goes for the area?
200 and 200.
Okay, times half times what's my base? What's my height?
H.
Okay. Now, keep your equal sign right there. Keep the things lined up. I'm bringing down 202.5. Is there anything that I can do on this side?
9.
Yeah, 1/2 of 18 is 9. 9 times H. You get H by itself by doing what? Dividing by 9 on both sides. This cancels out. H equals what, guys?
22.5 inches.
Okay, just be careful. I saw a couple people put inches squared. When do you want inches squared?
What's the area?
Only when you find the area. How many of you guys got that right on your own? All right, any questions if you did not get it right, if it doesn't make sense? Okay, we're going to do a review problem. This was exactly like our 11.4 lesson that we had on Friday. So go ahead and write this down for me. Okay, so for this review problem, we're going to find the perimeter and the area of the parallelogram. So always try to double check your instructions to make sure that you're going to have two answers instead of just one. Does anybody remember what it means to find the perimeter of something?
The outside.
The outside of it, okay? So when I'm trying to find it, I'm going to be finding what is this outside? What's the distance of that outside? Okay, that's what the perimeter is. So does anyone remember how to find the perimeter of a parallelogram?
2 times.
Kayla.
P equals 2 times length plus 2 times width.
Good job. Okay, so remember it's just going to be the length of what the outside is and then the width of what it is, and you multiply it by 2. Does anyone understand why we multiply it by 2?
Because it's 2 sides.
Okay,
Parallel.
it's parallel. So this and this, they're going to be exactly the same, okay? And then whatever this side is going to be exactly the same as that. So you just multiply it by 2. You could instead add 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 5, but we don't have to do that, okay? So what do I plug in? 2 times what? What's my length?
7 feet.
Okay, 7 feet. Now, this is what I also saw on the test. A lot of people just put it like that. What's wrong with that?
It looks like it's 27.
It looks like a 27, okay? So what should I have there instead? Put parentheses, because that shows me I've got to multiply it, plus 2 times, what's my width? 5. Once again, put it in parentheses. Okay, guys, what's 2 times 7?
14.
What's 2 times 5?
20.
Okay, what's 14 plus 10?
24 feet.
24 feet. Excellent job. Am I done? No. Remember, always go back through before you're finished. Double check, reread the original problem. It says find the perimeter, which we did, and the area. So now we've got to remember a totally different formula. What was the area of a parallelogram formula?
A equals B times H.
A equals B times H. Once again, it's very close to the triangle. What's different about the triangle?
It is 1
1
half.
half.
You take a half of what the parallelogram is, okay? So looking at this, I've got 3 numbers. There's a 7, there's a 5, and there's a 6. Which one is my base?
7.
The 7. Why the 7?
Because it makes the right angle.
Because it makes the right angle with the height, okay? So we've got area equals 7 times, and what's my height? 6. All right, guys, what's 7 times 6?
42 feet squared.
Okay, thank you for telling me it is squared feet because we are talking about the area. Okay, great job remembering how we did that. And that's just our review problem. We won't have our quiz until next Monday, but this kind of stuff will be on the quiz too, all right? So that's the gist of how you find the parallelogram information and then also what we did today with our triangles. All right, I want you guys to go ahead and write down your homework for me, please. Tonight there's just 9 problems.